it's a lot to ask people to come out of pocket and these founders to spend their money on marketing. It's a lot, it's a risk. And they're told they have to do it, so they do it. But then to not get results when these guys are so talented, they are the best of the best. They're taking great care, extreme care of their clients, and they're not able to reach them. That just breaks my heart. I can't stand inefficiency. So I come in, I start asking these questions, and I get upset on their behalf of, why are you not getting the results you're looking for?
Yeah.
And then we start working on it together, and that's when it gets really exciting.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Don't Do That podcast. I am your host, Kelly Waltrich, and today I have with me a very special guest, Lara Galloway, the head of growth at Elevation Point. What's up, Lara?
Hey, I'm so excited to be here after being such a long-time listener.
I am so excited to have you. We're going to talk about all things growth and marketing, guys. Topic close to my heart. So I'm really excited for this one. Why don't you go ahead and tell everyone about your company, your firm, what you got going on, what your role is. This is somewhat new to you. I'm really excited for you. Tell us a little bit about what you're up to.
Yeah, so I am, I guess, about 4 months into my role, which seems, it's one of those things, it's like dog years. It seems like an eternity, but also it just happened. How is this even possible? But Elevation Point is growing so quickly. We're about 16 months old now. So if you consider that, it's, you know, I'm getting in at the good time. And I'm just so fortunate to be a part of this company. We take a minority stake in RIAs that are looking to grow, super growth minded, whether they are breaking away from a wirehouse firm, like these are elite firms, they're top producers, and they're getting to come outside and build their own brand and be all these things and provide the level of client service they are so committed to providing. That's one of the things they seem to have in common is they're just very joyful about the options available to them. And we take a minority stake in exchange for being a really good partner and helping them accelerate that growth. And it's not just breakaways. We also work with some fabulous RIAs that have been, in the space independent for a while, but need a bit more support. So we're committed to their independence. We're committed to their growth. I was brought in to help these firms actually do the organic growth side of things. So here they are with this partner. They've got all these resources. They're ready to go and serve their clients so well. But how do they actually do that? And giving them a bit of a roadmap and a strategy. So I'm getting to call on my expertise as a business coach and a life coach and a marketing expert. And I am really excited because I started coaching and consulting back in 2005. I went through a certified coach program and got my certification back then and started working with women business owners. And every single one of them, the biggest company was maybe 25 people. And every single one of them, whether we started at ideation or we went all the way through to exit, had to figure out, how do I build this company? How do I make it grow? Who are the people that are best served by me? Who do the people I love to serve? Where are they? Where do I find them? How do I connect with them? And so kind of it's interesting in my experience here in the financial services and wealth management world. I'm kind of coming full circle where I'm returning to the coaching stuff that I get to do and is such a passion of mine. And the firms we're working with are so talented and they're such good humans. I'm really excited to be here. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you and I talked leading up to you taking this role, and you were being really intentional about your path and the type of company you wanted to work for and the company type of leaders that you wanted to work for. And I love that about you because I feel like, the last Don't Do That, and it actually hasn't aired yet, with Graham Thomas was very much around don't fall in love with a job before you ask all the right questions. And I feel like
Oh,
right? Marketers
I
is
can't wait.
it was a good one. Marketers especially, there are just so many you know, so many things that you should be aware of before you step into a role to make sure that you can be successful doing it. And I feel like you were
Mm.
really thoughtful around that. So tell us a little bit about the process that you went through and what specifically you were looking for. Although you did just outline some of the things that you love, just give
Yeah.
everybody that process because I think you were really intentional about it and I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. And I was really intentional. I'm telling you, I'm at a certain point in my career and a certain age where I just want every bit of my time that I spend to be quality time and worthwhile. And I'm the type person, like, I get up, I wake up in the middle of the night excited about my job.
Yeah.
I get up in the morning and I can't wait to do my job. It's not punching the clock. That's the way I'm wired. And I just want to be like the best use, like I always remember the kids, Thomas the Tank Engine. I just want to be a really useful engine and I
Yeah.
want to fire on all pistons. I want to use all the skills that I've acquired. And I get frustrated if I don't get to do that stuff, Kelly. And that is, something like I love to learn. And I started looking around and I just said, for the next step in my adventure, I want it to be a really good one, a really purposeful one. And it's time to take stock. What are the things that I love to do? The things that are strengths that come easily for me? And where's a place that I can apply them? And I did peek around outside of the wealth management industry. And I am so like, I got such clarity. I worked with my coach. I have a coach as well. We grew up together in the coaching world and, I just got really clear on what I was looking for. And she really pointed out, she's like, you've invested so much of yourself learning about this industry. And you have told me many times how you've fallen in love with
Yeah.
this industry. I'm like, that's so true. And she's like, why would you risk letting any of that go? Why would you sacrifice like the social capital, all the networks, all the people the relationships you built because I love relationship building. She's like, why would you let that go? And I'm like, man, you are right. So I never, ever considered moving outside the industry again. And then I just started doing the work of who is the best leader for me? What type of person do I work best with? And I've done strengths tests, personality tests, assessments like with my clients. And so I just did some of that for myself. And I looked at some of my strengths and the way I complement a leader and what I can do to best support what kind of leaders will challenge me and help me grow and hold me accountable and all the stuff that I do for my clients. And I'm telling you, once I got clarity on that, and it's a lot like what I'll be telling you about later today. Once I got clarity on what my strategy was on that, like what my needs were and what the best kind of fit was for me, Jim Dixon showed up. And I tell him every day, I'm like, I don't know what you were doing the other 50 or so years old that you are, but I just want you to know I manifested you. Like you showed up when I figured out what I was looking for. And I am just so grateful for his leadership and the team he's put together. And that was one of my core requirements is that I just respect the heck out of the leadership and they want me to grow and learn and work really hard.
I love that. I help a lot of marketers find new roles. And the thing that I always say to them is you really need to suss out if the leadership team believes in marketing. Like there's two sides of the world in financial services. They're the ones that believe that you marketers are there to make the advisors happy, and there are ones that are there to make the advisors grow. And those are two very different environments and two very different mandates. And so be really clear about what your leadership believes your role is. And I think that that's, the number one thing that marketers need to do a deep dive for themselves in terms of which they want to be and the type of
Mhm.
leadership they want to work for. I imagine that you
Yeah.
are very much on the growth side of that equation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and for sure, and one of the things that I think is often missing, Kelly, is a lot of really smart founders, leaders, advisors, they're not scared to spend money on marketing. They're not scared at spending money on a marketing leader, um, but there's not always the clarity around what they're gonna get for that, and
Right.
one of the things that I love in what I do. So basically, as the head of growth at Elevation Point, I work with our partner firms to help them. I do virtual business planning. That's where we start. We have to figure out what are the top three goals in the next 3 years, just a place to point ourselves
Yeah.
and a small enough amount of time that we can maybe actually see that far in the future, right? So I do the work of business coaching with them. I start there and say, we got to figure out what we're trying to accomplish first. Oh, we want to grow. Great. How do you want to grow? Well, that guy over there did this, and this gal over here is doing that, and this firm's doing that, and they don't actually have that figured out yet. So we work on getting the real why behind what they're doing. And that unlocks a whole bunch of possibilities. And then after that, we do some marketing consulting and a big growth strategy session. And I provide them a whole lot of like consulting, right? Do this, here's that, do, blah, blah, blah. But then the other piece that comes in on the back end is the accountability. We're meeting every month and we're having that accountability as coach and partners. We're looking at how do we help make sure you're getting there. So when I say like I'm addicted to growth and I'm really into it, like data, KPIs, this is how we do what we do. And that makes me feel good about being able to help my firm see what it is we're doing together as well. So,
Yeah. And you know what you just outlined is very much what we do it intentionally too. And it's funny how many firms, to your point, don't know what they're working towards. We have a lot
yeah.
of similar conversations around, okay, you want 3 blogs a month, or you want social media, or you want paid ad, but to what end? Like, what are you trying to get to? And maybe we can give you a better, more efficient way of getting there. Um,
Hmm.
and it's interesting how many firms don't have a new client revenue or new client number target or a revenue target or a asset target, and they don't know. And so, it's just always baffling to me. How do you put marketing tactics before you know sort of where you're trying to get? I don't know. On a day-to-day basis, I would say that is one of the things that is a head scratcher to me regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I start talking with our clients when we do our growth coaching workshop, and this is like a half day or a whole day workshop in person, one of the questions I start out with after, because we've already got the business plan, we've worked through that.
Yeah.
Um, I just ask them like, okay, tell me about your top 15 clients.
Right.
Just 15. Let's name them. Let's get them here present in the room. Okay. What do these people have in common? And are there any people in this list that, even though they're top, you don't like them because we want to cut those out? Okay. We don't want to replicate that. But
Yes.
then I just say, let's start talking about what these people have in common. What do they love coming to you for? What do they make you the first call for? What are their favorite problems to pay you money to solve? you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And what taps into your expertise that you absolutely like, oh my God, if I could do this all day, this just makes my brain fire up. This is, scratching the itch for like extreme client experience that I want to provide. What are those things?
Yeah.
And they love those questions. It takes a minute for them to get going. But when we start getting there and they start connecting the dots and seeing it, then we can start coming up with an ideal client profile that's really based on replicating those top 15 clients. And it's such a good place. It's so foundational, but it's pretty revolutionary for these firms to kind of think about it in that way.
So what's a question that you ask firms that stumps them that they really have to like think hard about? All of them.
Oh, I love this one. What's your unique value proposition? Right. I mean, come on. And it's too hard. That's not a reasonable question to ask. We as marketers have to have better questions and we
Yeah.
have to back into some of that and then produce for them,
Value prop.
help
Yes.
them articulate that. We're the people who articulate things, right?
Right.
And they don't often know that. So I don't ask that question. I really don't. I mean, sometimes just to have fun,
Yeah.
just to see, to show that we're going to start here and the work we're going to do together is going to help us come up with it. But, they love all their clients, Kelly. They love them all.
Yep.
And they want to work with more people like that. And they love, maybe they really love tax work or they maybe have gotten into the family office world and they're loving multifamily office type stuff, but they haven't ever articulated that before because it's just been a bit of an evolution for them over time. And, we're working with, high net worth and ultra high net worth firms, right? They're serving these really complex clients.
Yep.
And a lot of them have evolved over time. So I feel like that question, they don't really know. And it's not a fair question to ask, if I'm being honest, as a marketer.
Yeah, that's fair. There are definitely ways to lead firms into getting to that point, into choosing. Yeah, okay, fair. Well, maybe I need to rephrase some of my just kidding.
We know that we need to check the box and fill that blank, but it's a challenge for,
Yeah, I think it's
for
a hard, how are you different? It's such a hard thing. It's such a hard thing. When there's 300,000 advisors and as many firms as there are, it's a really hard thing.
Yeah.
But I get so excited when a firm comes to us and they have a story. Like they want to tell their story. They're
Yeah.
excited about their story. They know where they come from. They know why they're doing what
Yeah.
they're doing. They know what they're passionate about. They know what they're best at. I get jazzed just like thinking
Yeah.
about that. But if you come to me and you say, I want more $2 million investable asset clients, I'm out.
Yeah. Send it to me.
Deal. Well, I'm like my Tina says the same thing. She's like, "Send them to me." I'm like, "Okay. Yes."
Okay. Yes.
You would have those
P
conversations. Yeah.
Yeah, right, because it's hard, you have to suss it out, and for me, I've had clients that will say something like that, but I'm like, what are you doing to serve these people? How are you prepared to handle that? What extra services are you prepared to offer? Where do you find these people? Where are you networking? What are your case stories that prove that this is the group you serve? All that kind of stuff. And they're like, well, I don't know. I'm going to get there, but and I'm like, okay, well, if that's going to be one of your top three goals in 3 years, we're going to create a path to get there for darn sure.
Right.
And then we're going to put some things in place to build that groundwork so that when you say that, you're going to know exactly why that's your target. You're
Yep.
going to know exactly how you can best serve them and why these are the perfect clients for you.
So when you're going through this process, what's the moment that these firms get most excited about? Like, when do their eyes light up? When do they feel, like, bought in? When are they jazzed?
I think so when we do the growth strategy workshop, and again, this what I usually do is I fly in the night before and I say, let's break bread and drink. Let's just get that out of the way. Makes everybody friendly, and then
Yeah.
we're going to do the hard work tomorrow, start 8:30 or 9 a.m., right? So we get to hang out the night before and then we meet up in person. And I ask if at all possible, I ask for every member of the team to be a part of these sessions. And that's really important because um, what some of the feedback I've gotten is that some of the support staff, some of the junior reps and stuff have said, I never knew those were our goals. I haven't heard that not once. And I feel so included now in this goal and I'm invested in it.
Yep.
And so that makes me super happy. From the founders, I've gotten things like it seems like because what I do is I take the growth a marketing strategy and then I look at their each of them, if they don't have a dedicated marketing team or CMO or even a marketing person, then they're distributing. Everybody's doing a little bit here and there, or maybe one or two people are doing the only marketing activities that they're doing right now.
Yep.
And and that's fine. That's crawl, walk, run. We get there bit by bit, right?
Mhm.
But I work really hard to tailor whatever recommendations I give to their comfort level. So each person will have a task that is perfect for them, whether it's how can I get one more, or if you normally get one referral or one new client out of a client event, how can I get two? How can I get one more? How can I double that? That's your only goal is be excellent at events. And we've got, 6 or 7 KPIs that we'll evaluate to make sure what being excellent looks like, right? And they're like, "Oh my God, thank you. Now I actually know what I'm supposed to be doing and I
Yeah.
know why." And then the founders have said, it's like you understand everybody, like you've known us all our lives, the way you tailored each of these activities for us. We feel good. We feel like, yes, I can do that. That's my piece. And I understand what the rest of the team is doing. And now it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, we're going to kill it because we all feel really bought in. So I feel like that's when it goes off is when I come back from the session and I present the deliverables. But the number one thing they love that is not that hard to create with all of our friends like Chat GPT.
Yeah.
After I do all this work and I brain dump it into my GPTs and I come out with like a 12-month marketing calendar, all the topics, all the channels, whatever, they pretty much fall on the floor and don't know what to do with themselves. And I'm like,
I
this
love
wasn't the hard part. We did the hard part, but they're like, oh, this is just so great. I feel like I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. And they're just grateful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so what do you think is, obviously there's no silver bullet. You don't need to tell me that. But what are some of the things that your firms are doing that they're executing really well and are producing good results?
The biggest shift, I think, is really getting their brand messaging figured out. When they get it dialed in, it just informs everything.
Yep.
It's the conversation that one of the founders has when he's on a plane to somewhere and he's sitting in, up in one of the front rows, he's chatting with somebody and he's able to articulate what he's talking about. It's another firm where, the advisor is going to speak at a women wine and wisdom event and she's lit up to do it because she's an educator and she loves that part of it and she feels so passionately about educating women and their finances and like that sort of thing being fine-tuned to her natural skill set and her comfort level. She's not on any social media and she never will be, so I don't ask her to do what
What?
she's not comfortable doing, right? So those type of activities, when they know that their mission, when we get it dialed in and then the activities all, they can see exactly how they line up to support what the goals are. That's what it is. It doesn't matter what the activity. It's not super creative, whether it's, expanding your online presence, whether it's redoing your website, whether it's finally starting maybe some digital ads to create a new funnel to get some automation in their marketing where we can just do some drips and nurtures,
Mhm.
whether it's doing webinars or, like I said, client events. It's all, none of it's rocket science, but it's all about the fine tuning for the firm to be able to reach the exact people they most want to reach. They get excited about that.
Love it. I love it, I love it. Okay, so before we get to our don't do that, leave our audience with, if they could, to the advisory firms listening, if they could do one thing to prepare for 2026, what does that look like?
Oh, well, I will echo something that you are saying all the time. And it's, whatever, I don't care what you got on your website. If you don't have some FAQs and some content marketing that specifically answers questions that AEO, that
Oh, yeah.
the AI bots are searching for when people are typing really specific questions online, like, should I roll over my, 401k into a Roth IRA or should I pay off my mortgage? Whatever. How do you make those decisions? Or how do I, pass down the family estate without letting it get to my daughter's ex-husband? Whatever, right? Like big concerns. If you're not adding in like a simple FAQ section. It doesn't even have to be straight up robust content marketing like blogs and all that stuff, which of course you should have.
Yeah.
But at least if you're going to crawl, walk, run,
Yeah.
at least get those because I see a lot of websites missing that these days. They've invested in an SEO strategy
Yep.
and they're like, well, I do more really high net worth and ultra high net worth. And I'm like, that's totally fine. But when someone goes online, they just got served your competitor's website and you're nowhere in the mix.
Oh my gosh.
So that is something I feel, just as I know you do, is so critically important. There are many technical things you can do, much more technical than that. But if you at least add some very specific FAQs to your website,
Yep.
I think that is going to get you positioned about 80% higher than most firms.
Yeah, I think that's such good advice, guys. If you're listening, pay attention. Intentionally is going through a major exercise right now to, because our first instinct was, how are we going to serve our clients? And then we went
Yeah.
into this deep, dark hole of what is the best way to position our clients better than anybody else across all LLMs. So we have gone into borderline crazy mode, digging into all the technical things, all the content things, everything you need to do, and so we're about to roll that out. It's hard though because it's changing every day. It's constantly
Ah,
evolving. It's
good.
like, do you remember when we started with SEO back in the day? It was like a constantly changing scientific effort pretty much, and now we're in
Yeah.
that same
Yep.
situation trying to be everywhere across all the LLMs. So we're about ready to roll that out. We're really excited about it, but it has been a labor of love trying to make sure that if we say, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do for you," that firms can actually see the results that we're
Yeah.
telling them they can. So it'll be a fun ride. And you know what else we're telling our clients is like, sign up for this and we're gonna figure it out together because it's gonna be
Mhm.
something that changes and grows and expands and adjusts as more of these tools and technologies come to market.
Well, in its early times, there aren't a ton of case studies just yet because everything is changing right now. And
Yes.
I look to you guys as one of the foremost leaders in the industry that I listen to for that advice and for staying current and trying to figure out what are even some of the smallest impacts, smallest changes that can have big impacts.
Yep.
So I cannot wait to see what you guys roll
Okay,
out.
we'll push it to you first. We'll give you a preview glimpse of what we're gonna put out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that the premise of this show is that we learn better from our mistakes than our wins. I love that our audience gets to hear from people who have stepped in it, learned from it, and risen above it. So, tell us what are we not doing today?
I love how you deliver this question.
Everybody
So
in
what
my
we're not
office.
doing.
I'm not in my office right now, but when I'm in my office recording this, everybody just laughs at me. So now it's like, meh, I love it. I'm going with it.
There it is. Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to marketing, don't confuse activity with strategy. Volume won't fix a lack of vision.
Oh my gosh. Ah. Did the skies just open up? Yes. Do we hear the angels? Yes. Okay, tell give us some situations where this has occurred.
Yeah. So again, with our firms that have, these are people, these are elite firms. They are top producers. So they are not afraid of investments and they understand, yes, I should be investing in marketing. Just like, yes, I should have insurance. Got it. Right. Bought in. You don't have to sell me. I agree.
Yeah.
But I come in and I take a look at what they're doing and they're like, well, we're doing some webinars, we're doing some client events, we're doing some, we're asking for referrals. Do you have a referral program? No. Well, I mean, I don't know. We just ask for them. How often? How do we say? Okay. So they're doing a lot of activities. They may ask me like, hey, should we start running some ads? We want to break into these different markets. Should we, hey, what about buying digital leads? Everybody's into digital leads. My God, our CAC would be amazing with these digital leads, right? Oh God, help. Um,
Another day, we'll talk about that.
Another day. And, or should we redo our website or, like just how to make these decisions. And they're doing things and they're spending money. And then I start asking, okay, well, what results are we getting? Let's look at these metrics. Like you've invested in this channel. What's coming up? Well, I don't know. Maybe, we tried that LinkedIn in-mail program and we did that for a while and oh, good. Okay, cool. How did that go? Well, we didn't really get any qualified leads. We got a bunch of leads. People were, signing up for stuff. We spent $20,000 or 30. They spend the money. They're willing to spend the money, Kelly,
Yeah.
but they have no results or very little results or not the right results. And I pull my hair out because I'm like, okay, well, okay, who are we targeting? Oh, well, anybody 300 million, sorry, anybody 3 million and up. Oh, okay, great. Anything else? You know? And yeah, and they're like, well, that's just our minimum. Okay, that's your minimum, but what kind of clients? So as I dig and I just start asking, we start revealing the fact that we don't know who we're trying to reach.
Yeah.
We don't know what their pain points are or their big concerns are. I mean, I can't tell you how excited one of my firms got when they got to the point after we did our work together. They're like, our top things we care about are being good financial stewards, just like you were a good financial steward. We work with people who were good at this, right? And we take okay, great. Yeah. And we are all about charitable intentions, charitable giving. How do you do that the right way? And we're all about living well. Like if you don't fly first class, your kids will, and they come up with this stuff and it's like, oh, and they just get so dialed in when they don't have that though, they just spent money. How much did you spend last year? We spent 50,000. Oh, wow. Okay. That's not bad. What'd you spend it on? What'd you get for it? They don't even have a segmented list between clients and prospects. It's all just going, if we're lucky, it's all getting into the CRM. So that's what breaks my heart because I feel like it's a lot to ask people to come out of pocket and these founders to spend their money on marketing. It's a lot. It's a risk. And they're told they have to do it, so they do it. But then to not get results when these guys are so talented,
Yeah.
they are the best of the best. They're taking great care, extreme care of their clients, and they're not able to reach them. That just breaks my heart. I can't stand inefficiency. So I come in, I start asking these questions, and I get upset on their behalf of, why are you not getting the results you're looking for?
Yeah.
And then we start working on it together. And that's when it gets really exciting. So yeah, I've been really sad by looking under the hood and seeing a lot of intentionality, a lot of hope, a lot of money and resources spent
Yeah.
without a lot of results. And I know that we can do better. I can
Yeah.
help them.
So it's interesting. I have so many things. It's interesting though, because I went on a listening tour before I started intentionally because I wanted to know what I was getting myself into. And the loudest thing that I heard from RIAs was a lack of dashboards, metrics,
Mm,
accountability. Um, and so many of them, like you said, were putting money into things, willing to do it, but felt so burnt by that, that my
mhm,
starting place at intentionally is always trying to get people to realize, hey, we're not them. And we're
mm,
gonna give you a dashboard on the very first, like, week of our existence. So everything you're gonna see it live in real time. And we also do monthly reports on top of the live dashboards, and it's a
yeah,
lot of work. It's a lot of work, but I feel so strongly about it because that listening tour, that was the number one thing. And it's like, you can't I I'm in New York today. I had 2 client meetings yesterday, and in both client meetings, I was stressing to them, they're both fintechs, but same thing, that you can't optimize your marketing and do great work unless you can see what's working, unless you can have a feedback loop, unless you are looking at metrics every day. Like, it's just not the way it works. You have to be paying
yeah,
attention to those things. You have to know the biggest referral source to your website. You need to know what's driving your social engagement. You need to know what piece of content is being downloaded the most. Like, you need to know if your emails got delivered to the list that you were trying to reach, and which people on there were most, like, you have to know this stuff to do better and better and better.
yeah,
Um, so to me, I think we've overcorrected in that area in some ways, but it's so important. And I tell everybody that your marketing is not worthwhile if you are not paying attention to these things. It's just
measuring it. Yeah,
yeah.
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 And, the firms that we're working with, we don't do the marketing work for them. They are independent. They're running their business.
Yeah.
I'm a growth coach. I provide accountability, support, help you figuring out your business, right? I'm there to be your support. But these guys are having to do it themselves.
Yeah.
And, to your point, maybe studying marketing data isn't your jam that you do all day. And maybe that's when they hire a firm to do that for them. Because again, all day, every day, if we keep spending money, if you're willing to do that, but you're getting burned by it,
Right.
then you're not getting, this isn't going to be healthy for you. You're probably going to stop doing some of the marketing. So
Right.
again, with a strategy, and adding on your part the metrics, the measurables, and
Yeah.
to know what's working, what isn't, what's the best, how do we fine tune that? Like, there's
Right.
so many levers and knobs and dials we can pull, right?
Yep.
And make it better.
Yes. Okay. So you said, um, activity, don't mistake activity. Now, this is something that I think about a lot too. I'm a believer that there is a baseline amount of activity that you have to have because you can't have dormant channels. And
Yeah.
that's a hard thing for firms that don't have a large budget because it's
Yeah.
almost like these are table stakes. Your
Yep.
website has to be representative of who you are. You have to be posting something to social media so you'll look alive. You
Yeah.
have to be, you have to be informing your clients of what's going on in your business and on their behalf. So there's a
Mhm.
baseline of activity, in my opinion, that is non-negotiable. Do you agree with that?
100%. And again, I will always say crawl, walk, run. We've
Yeah.
got some teams that they've been independent for years and they've been doing marketing activities. They've got some workflows in place. They're established. So for them, it's maybe a like recircle back, get clear on the goals, get clear on the strategy. What activities are we doing that are working, not working? How can we fine tune, right?
Right.
But for the ones that are newer to marketing because, they weren't even able to do that before, perhaps, right?
Yeah.
Um, one of the things I start out with just about every firm with, not everyone, but most of them, is I call it my LinkedIn 5 and 5 playbook, right? It's 5 things you have to do 5 minutes a day on LinkedIn.
Yep.
That's it, not negotiable. Have to sign up for it, swear you in, promise me you're going to do these things. Because if we, and most of it, Kelly, is just, about expanding their connections. I
Yep.
always say, like, you can have the greatest pool at your country club and you could be shouting, hello, this is a great, I mean, it honestly, swear to God, it is absolute primo the best. But the people at the other country clubs, they don't even know you're here. So they can't hear your message. They're never going to come to your pool. So I always say, I want to get you started expanding your connections, showing up. You have to engage first. You have to follow the right people first. And as you start doing that, the connections are going to build. Then when it's time for us to start doing some content marketing for you, that's beautifully wrapped around the strategic plan that we came up with,
Yeah.
the content marketing is actually going to start getting heard or seen or fed to people that you most want it to be. So
Yep.
I 100% agree. It's like, the old TV show Cheers, right? If you don't keep your seat warm at the bar,
Yes. Yep.
right? So we got to do some baseline stuff. And, again, to kind of avoid the overwhelm, because I'm working with firms that don't have a CMO, don't have a dedicated marketing team.
Right.
And, as successful as they are, but that this is like something that's new for them to add on. So having very clear, easy wins that anybody can do, right? Like I can get it fine tuned for the type of marketer that they are. I find their natural marketing capability, fine tune the action for them. But a LinkedIn 5 and 5 plan is pretty standard for us,
Yeah.
so that we at least get them used to doing that. And I say, you'll see what happens once you start making this a habit. And I'm a coach, right? So everything's about habit. Once
Right.
I start getting you into this habit, you'll start probably paying attention. You'll start getting fed stuff. Your feed's going to be interesting. You're going to be seeing what your clients are doing, what their businesses are doing, what their families are talking about. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you will start having that pull to be engaged, not just a sticky note on your board that Lara said you had to do every day.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the other things that you said that I love is that you get the whole team involved. So I often have teams come to intentionally and they say, "Ooh, we hired intentionally. They're awesome. They got it. They're running with it. They're going to hit our growth
Yeah.
goal." And it's like they almost forget that they have a responsibility in it too. And then it needs to be
Hmm.
collaborative and that we can do amazing things. But at the end of the day, they need to play a role and they need to close the deals and they need to, facilitate the ongoing dialogue and all these things. So I as we're thinking about activity, I also feel like so there is a baseline level that I think firms need to do. And then I think whether you're working with a partner or whether you've identified folks internally, like there's a responsibility across everybody to help the firm grow. And it sounds
Yep.
like by bringing everybody in on that initial conversation, you've got that down, but I feel like I want you to dig into that a little deeper because I think more firms need to hear that it's not like even give it to your marketing person or give it to the firm's growth leader or give it to an agency like us. That's all good, but
Hmm.
everybody still needs to be aware and play a role. I think it's just so important, and I find I spend a lot of time helping firms understand that, yes, you hired us, but you we need to know, like, what's going on in your firm. You do need to show up to meetings. You do need to play a role in this. And so I just
Yeah.
wonder, what do you think about that?
Oh, I love that you said that. I mean, getting, you know, in marketing terms, we talk about engagement. In coaching, we call it getting people enrolled. You have to get people enrolled in your idea and your vision. And my job is to support the founders
Yeah.
in helping them do that, right? It's not Laura's vision. I'm purely a facilitator for you guys, right? This is the founder's vision. And my one of my colleagues tells me, because I record the business planning sessions that I do, and they're 2 hours long. And that may seem like an eternity, and it kind of is. And it takes about, like, I'm starting to see the average time is about maybe 45 minutes for the nut to crack, for me to actually get them to break down from the,
Yeah.
yep, 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 uh-huh, yeah,
Mhm.
stage.
Yeah.
And I kind of start getting to the why. I kind of start, you can't, again, you got to be careful how you ask the questions, because people, they're not even holding back. They just aren't used to that question and how to articulate it. If you can get these founders connected back with their vision and the reason that they're doing things. For some, it's so easy, it's on the tip of their tongue. They're doing it all day, every day. But I'm finding it's not always for these guys. And if I can get them back into that, and I listen, and I'm just curious, and I ask a lot of questions about how that came to be,
Yeah.
and they get to talk about it again, and then they get to start thinking about how, like, reconnecting with how that, matters, why that has impacted them the way it has. When we start working on that, it all just, it's like the key in the lock gets opened, the door swings wide. And when they're bought in and they are enrolled in their own vision, not
Yes.
just, like, it's like I see firms that go out and basically, when I say, okay, what's your definition of success? Well, this person down here and she over there and they over there, they kind of just, like, they go to the grocery store and they pick items out of random aisles that look like success to them. That is not it. When we get to that big vision and we get enrolled in that vision, when they start showing up like the leaders that they are to their team,
Yeah.
and the team gets to hear that, and they've handpicked the people on these teams. These are not hundreds of people firms. These are, maybe 15, 20 employees often. Everybody knows each other very well. And when they hear that connection to that impact, to that mission, to that vision, it helps them get enrolled. And again, I will say, I feel like giving each person their particular marketing activity, like,
I love it.
here's yours, here's yours.
I love it.
Now we're all doing something. It's like being on crew and we all have a role and everybody's pulling in the same direction. And that's how we're going to get there. So I feel like that builds in some accountability for them as well.
I love that. Yeah, I can tell really early on if a client is going to be a good one for intentionally. So let me just paint two pictures for everybody listening. And I imagine it's very similar for you as you're doing your coaching. So the first client is we hired intentionally, we're handing this to you. You're going to get us a million clients. Tell us when you're done. Let us know if you need things along the way. And the second client is, "Ooh, that was a really good lead. I got them on the phone. This is what they said. They're not quite ready for us, maybe a little bit more nurturing. I didn't get that one on the phone. That one doesn't I did some research on them. They don't make as much sense for our business. I'm gonna move on from that." Or, "Hey, let's make sure, I know it's not in your scope intentionally, but we do this newsletter over here, and I wanna make sure that anybody that you're pushing to us gets the newsletter." And, like, I get excited and I can tell immediately when a client's going to be a good one and we're going to have a good long-term relationship when they're in it and they care about it and they come to the table with ideas versus like hey, we hired you, you tell us what to do, you do it, and we're going to hope to hit our goal. And it is
Yeah.
oh, man. I'm in New York today with my leadership team where we spend a lot of time talking about like finding the right clients for our business because we want people to win. We want our clients to win, but we also
Yeah.
know they have to play a role in that. For us to be successful, they have to be just as excited as we are every day.
You're not for everybody.
No.
And much like the whole thing that I did trying to find this firm,
Yeah.
I got really clear on my intention.
Yeah.
Intentionally love this.
Yeah.
That was a layup for you.
Yeah.
So I got really clear on my intention. You guys are getting really clear on your intention. And when you realize you're not for everybody and you stop serving the people that don't see your point, that don't understand that don't feel enrolled, that don't have that ability to get their team, all pulling in the same direction because they've already established themselves as that kind of leader. Not to say they're doing anything wrong, not to say that's not the right way to do it. It's just maybe a different fit than the ones that you work best with.
For
And
sure.
that's exactly what I'm trying to help these firms tap into well. Like, the clients you work best with, you told me X, Y, and Z. You told me this, this, and this. Let's focus everything we do on these pieces. And when they hear that, they're like, oh my God, we could have 1,000 Goodmans or 1,000, Smiths or what. Wow, that would, or even just two more of those would be amazing for us. And then they're committed to that.
I love it. I feel like, guys, anybody that's listening to this, if, I think the note about making sure that you're searchable for across LLMs is so important heading into 2026. But what I'm also hearing, what I think you all should also do is do an audit of what are you doing as a team to grow, and what is working and what is not, and where are you putting energy that you should be putting elsewhere, because you're so right. It's funny, as a leader and as a leader of this business, I'm constantly telling our OCMOs that people don't care if you put a pretty presentation together. They don't care that the webinar went off without a hitch. They don't care that the emails got a 1,000% open rate. They don't care that they got 1 million downloads. All they care about at the end of the day is, are they getting new clients? Are they
Mhm.
getting new clients? And so scrap the beautiful stuff and do the scrappy stuff that it's going to take to get new clients. So we have that discussion constantly, 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 constantly. It's hard because clients come to us and they want all this stuff. They want all this stuff. And it's sort of
Yeah.
a tug of war in like, I have this moral tug of war all the
Yeah.
time. Do I do what they ask me to do, or do I do what I know they need to do? And so I don't know. And sitting in a
Yeah.
CMO seat, you get to do what you know that the firm needs to do. Sitting in an
Mhm.
agency owner seat, it's sort of like a little tug
Yeah.
of war,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Get me on TikTok. Why? I mean, okay, but why? Yeah, I hear you. And it is, there's some detachment there between understanding, I mean, maybe your audience is there. Totally fine. If they are, then you should be there, right?
Yeah.
If that's where your audience hangs out. But like just that lack of alignment makes for so many missteps, so many used up resources that, we can do better. And as marketers, and that's what again, with these teams, I love them so much because you hear how they love on their clients and what they love to do. They're so service minded. They're like, it's nice. They're really good people. They're fun to work with for that reason. I feel like that's part of the beauty of Elevation Point is we're attracting a certain type of, groups over to us that I just really feel lucky to be around. And, they've got those kind of leaders that are they're full of integrity. They've got their passion aligned with their integrity, with their service model, and they're doing good things, right? And that makes it super fun to go in and just fine tune some marketing activities that make sense for who they are and who the clients are that they most want to serve.
I love it. I love it. We could talk all day. We're going to do this again because we have so many more topics. But guys, thank you so much for listening. For those of you who are tuning in, we are not mistaking activity for productivity, for results, for doing what's right to grow your business. So, if you're going into the end of the year and you're thinking, how do I prepare for next year? We're doing an audit, right? We're asking ourselves, what do I really need to do? What's working, what's not, and how do I need to reshape what I'm tackling for 2026? Right? We get it?
Yeah,
We nail
that's
it?
it.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely nailed it. Of course you did.
I am so happy for you. I'm so happy. It was really wonderful to see you land in a place. I feel an intense responsibility. I talk to a lot of marketers and try to help marketers find homes, and I know how hard it is to find the right fit, to find a team and a leader and a business that values marketing and believes in it and resources it appropriately and puts it in the room when the important conversations are had. So I'm really, really, really happy for you that you found that.
Thank you. And I can attest to that. You are a wonderful connector and supporter, and I appreciate all the help you've given me.
Well, I'm really excited about doing some more work together in 2026, and I wish you the very best.
Same. All right, lady. Thank
Thanks
you
for
so much for
joining me.
having me.
All right, guys. Thanks. Till next time. Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to be notified when new episodes become available. And please consider giving us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. This podcast is sponsored by Intentionally, a financial services growth engine design consultancy and agency. If you want to learn more, please email me at kelly@growintentionally.com. Thank you again for listening, and check back to hear what we're not doing next.
The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Kelly Waltrich. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only.